Welcome back to our special coverage here of the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. I'm Michael Hill of ABC 26, along with our chief meteorologist, Bruce Katz.
That is right. You know, so many people have said, Michael, that Chalmette and down toward the parish of St. Bernard were just not getting a lot of information. Well, we've got somebody who now lives in Baton Rouge, but has lived there 25 years, pretty much, all of his life. Randy, I don't know how old you are, but Randy Richards joins us. What did you find down there?
There was a lot of mud. The trees are covered in mud from the tops to the bottoms. The bushes, the foliage is dead. Mm-hmm. It smells like dead fish. It's terrible. I was standing on Judge Perez Road and I was crying. Wow. Everything is ruined. The buildings are gutted where the wall of water just came in, washed everything out of the bottom floor. Everything inside collapses. And then it just gets washed out to sea.
And where is this? Is this your mom's house, you were saying?
Well, no, this is Chalmette. We went down First Paris Road and took some photographs, and then we went up Judge Perez.
Here are some of your pictures here.
Yeah, that's on Judge Perez. That's the canal between the McDonald's and the Firestone. It just came to rest there after the floodwaters receded. And when people ask about their specific houses, and they say, did it get any water? Every house got 10 to 20 feet of water.
Every house.
Yeah. Every house was up to the rooftops, even if you were on the highest part. Now, the water receded like in 24 to 48 hours and stayed at a 5 to 8 foot level. So those houses may have done better because the water didn't soak for a week.
Right, right.
And this is just more of Judge Perez. There's apartment complex across from the, I believe that's across from where the Home Depot would be, across the street from that.
Okay.
And why did you take these pictures?
The stbernardparish.com website that I think they established this just for the emergency afterwards. This is not .gov, it's .com. Mm-hmm. This is a privately run, or I should say, it's controlled by the government, but it's privately operated by a webmaster who's volunteering right now. And he said there was a sore lack of photographs from the parish. Right. Now, you can't really get into the lower parts right now because of the oil. They don't want people going in there, and frankly, I don't want to go in there with the oil is in there.
Right. Is this the structure with the top floor going?
This is Village Square right here, or the Chalmette Center shopping center, as it got renamed. Village Square Apartments are behind that. Mm-hmm. The shopping center burned. I'm not sure which businesses burned, but it's not the whole thing. Mm-hmm. It's just the business. Some of the businesses burned. I don't know why.
And how many photos would you say you took altogether?
We have approximately 200 photographs. If you want to see the rest of the photographs, you can go to www.dancebackwards.com. And I've got a link there. That's my professional website. We're not trying to sell the pictures.
No,
that is just a link to get to the pictures. And although they may give you a list for buying them, if people will just email me, I'll email you the picture. You don't have to buy them unless you want to get them printed for some reason. But
Now, Randy, is that sludge in front? Is that oil? I mean,
it's not oil. It's black mud. And now it may have some oil from cars and things like that. It may have other toxicities. Most of the mud in Chalmette, at least the upper part of Chalmette, is dry. They got most of the water out. I think it was 2 days ago. But there is thick, wet mud. Sludge is probably the wrong term. I think muck would be the appropriate term.
Skate World.
Yeah, and it's gutted, and you know it looks good. You're like, oh, well, it's intact. Well, yeah, outside it's intact. A lot of the metal, the thick metal, and the brick buildings are intact around, and maybe even the roof survives, but the insides are just gone.
Amazing.
If you're lucky enough, and then all your four walls are intact, and your roof is intact, and your windows are intact, your stuff's swirled around in water for 2 days.
Exactly.
So
at least 2 days.
At least, and there's nothing, you know. And even when it receded to 5 feet, it was still underwater. So being high up didn't help. And look, the Chalmette Cinema is just unbelievable. I mean, all the lettering is gone, except for the little ones at the bottom. The pet store next door was completely destroyed. I feel sorry for if there were any animals left in there. Hopefully they got them all out. I hope so. I hope
Did you make it to your mom's house?
I did make it to her house, just very briefly. I peeked inside the garage. I didn't want to go in. I didn't want them to think I was a looter trying to take stuff. But it seemed like all the stuff was still there. But again, it had rose to the ceiling, swirled around for 2 days in 10 feet of water, and then it receded again. So refrigerators were, everything was askew, and everything was the ceiling had become the floor. You could see the roof from the inside. You know, it's like it's just open. There was no garage door. I mean, it was gone. And
The Civic
Center here.
Civic Center sign was utterly destroyed. I don't know how the inside fared. Again, you can't really tell from these photos until you get up close.
The Louisiana Crawfish Festival, right to the left, is where we usually go live every year, Michael, when we do the Crawfish
that is
Festival.
correct. Right. That is
You know,
correct.
the folks in Chalmette, just do a great job.
And look at this, the rallies with boats just scattered. And the whole parish is like that. I mean, you'll see cars on their side, you'll see boats on the roofs. I mean, it's just crazy.
What did you expect from this storm?
Yeah, probably what everyone else did. It's coming, and then we're going to go back. And, oh, we might have some water. No one expected a 20-foot wall of water to hit the parish. I think by the time I got to Chalmette, it was 10 feet. But with the lower parish, it's basically a tsunami. I know it's a storm surge, but it was the same effect. Right. Same effect.
That blockbuster looks like it's completely gutted.
It's gutted. I mean, the water probably came in one side, washed it out the other side because of the way they're positioned.
Now, you grew up in Chalmette, you said. So,
yeah,
I mean,
yes, I did.
you look at these pictures and you were there on the ground looking at the damage. How do you rebuild?
Well, you know, I've seen worse in other parts of the world, and they rebuild. First you come in and you tear down the bad stuff, and you build your new stuff in its place. It's heart-wrenching at first, but after you finish, you know, you just say, well, hopefully that won't happen again. Let's do something about it. Maybe we can make our structures more secure and higher up and get some levees in there that are higher up. But you know, they said there's no levee that could have kept this much water out. That's what they were telling us. The government was telling the St. Bernard Parish government, because they saw it, because they all stayed there. They are the true heroes of St. Bernard Parish. They did not leave, and they helped rescue people. And one of the reasons you didn't hear a lot coming out of Chalmette was because they were preoccupied. They were busy rescuing people, saving lives. They didn't have time to go travel 30 miles to the nearest communication center to get some kind of message out. It was just, let's save these people.
Right. Yeah, I talked to one of the deputies down at St. Bernard Parish Sheriff's Department on Friday, and he showed us in the courthouse there where a lot of the deputies and the sheriff all were as the storm was passing through. Yeah. And they said everything was fine. We had some wind damage. We could deal with that. And all of a sudden they heard from one of the detectives in another part of Chalmette who said, there's water coming down the street.
Yeah.
And when they heard that, they said, here we go.
It's true. That's got to be scary.
And that was
they said they were trying to save people from being washed out the door at St. Bernard High School. And look, lucky by you.
Look at the car.
The worst, actually, I think that's a log. That's a log. I think it's a log that came to rest there. Okay. And I think I went and looked at that earlier. And but there are pictures that are even worse than this on the website. Again, that's dancebackwards.com. Right. They also have the government's website. A lot of people don't know this. It's stbernardparishgovernment.com. The .gov website is for other business that they normally have. They just didn't feel like they had enough structure on that website to contain all this stuff, so they created a website just St. Bernard, and it's Saint with the ST, bernardparish.com. Okay. And the sheriff also has a new website that just came up today. It's sbso2.org. That's a number 2, sbso2.org, where he will be giving official updates.
What kind of movement was there on the ground? I mean, not many people. I mean, I know people are so curious to get back to see what they can salvage, see what there is, if there is anything salvageable.
Lots of military patrolling the streets. People ask me about looting. I said, there's nothing to loot.
Right.
I mean, maybe if you were to break into a house, you might find a piece of jewelry, but it's not worth it to dig. No. It's a mess. Right. You'd have to dig through 8 feet of dirt sometimes just to get to anything that'd be worth anything.
And then, you know, even if you do take something out of there, it probably needs to be, what's the word?
Sanitized,
detoxified.
I would think so. I walked about a few feet into my mom's garage just to see what I could see through the door. Right. And a frog jumped over my foot. Jeez. And I stepped in a pile of muck that looked like it was a combination of algae and mud mixed together from the marsh. Wow. And of course all the stuff was hanging down. I think.
Look at this. This is impressive because these are metal beams.
Those are steel girders.
Steel girders.
And they bent the hard way, you know, the thick way. That's over the, it's on St. Bernard Highway. I think it's over the motorcycle, what was the motorcycle shop.
It's like this on, I think it's Veterans in Kenner as well, and sometimes 4 of the girders.
Yeah, I talked to my brother, and he said there's a lot of pictures of those because they're so flat to the wind. They just, you know.
Right, they just go down.
But that's incredible that the wind could do that kind of.
And here's a sad little note. The only part of the sign remaining is Think Positive St. Bernard We Do. Well, I think we're going to need to think positive really soon because when you get there, you're going to be heartbroken. I stood on Judge Perez Highway, and I just did a 360. and I just started weeping.
Yeah.
I couldn't hold it in anymore.
Sure.
Everything, as far as the eye can see, is just destroyed. And it's so quiet. I don't know if it's the mud absorbing the extraneous sounds, or if it's just because there's nobody there. There's no children, there's no
There's
dogs.
no air conditioning hums, or no dogs, or no cars.
And there's no birds, and no insects. It's the first time I've been in Chalmette with no mosquitoes.
Here's the sheetrock. Obviously,
That's my
just
mom's house. I'm
completely
sure she'll be
house.
really happy. I'm showing this on national television.
Yeah. Has she seen these yet?
She was about to look at them right before I came down here.
Yeah.
So, but I described them to her earlier, and she knows what to expect. But that's what everybody can expect. Some of your structure is intact. You can see the brick is fine, the girders, the beams up, the 2x4s are fine for the attic. The insulation has fallen on top of everything.
Right.
Surprisingly, all her windows are intact. I'm guessing that's because the garage door gave way and there was no pressure, and so it just filled up. And the shed in the back has been smashed up against the wall of the. I'm surprised it was even still there. And there's the front of the house. You can see the garage door is gone, and there's my antique Coke machine is sitting out there for everyone to view.
Is that salvageable?
Probably. It was made of like iron. It didn't even move. This thing is so old. It's like a Model T. They're still running. But your Ford or your Chrysler is it's plastic, and so it's got parts that fail.
Now, on the lawn, that's just debris and mud?
There's debris in the tree. There is a Radio Flyer red wagon upside down in the tree.
Look at that, yeah.
And there's a sofa. You can't hardly see it, but it's behind that piece of whatever it is lying going to the left, that slanted piece of metal.
Right.
There's a sofa. It's not my mom's sofa. I don't know where that came from. Probably Miro. I mean, this stuff must have floated miles.
Right.
There's Chalmette Middle School. I'm sure the inside is pretty bad, but this went through Betsy, so if they only got first floor flooding, well, they're just back to where they were in Betsy.
Structurally, it looks pretty good.
It does.
Yeah, I mean, there's some windows broken, and I think there was some damage right there. You can't really see it because.
I'm surprised an awning is still there.
Yeah, actually, I was surprised about the awning. I mean, the Snowball place that was right by the Kentucky Fried Chicken. It had been lifted up along with, I think, the daiquiri place, because both of those were just portable buildings.
Right.
They were lifted up, and now they're in the intersection of Judge Perez and I think that's Packingham. Now here's some dogs on the roof. They're still there.
Yeah, a lot of dogs there.
I wanted to save them, but I didn't have the resources to save them at the time, and I let the animal shelter know they were up there.
Yeah.
That's on Carolina and Carmack, which is in the Vista subdivision near Chalmette Middle School. But the dogs, they were up there, they were barking at me, and I felt so bad I couldn't do anything for them.
So the water, again, was just that high to where I guess they dog paddled.
I'm sure they swam up there, and then it receded and didn't know how to get down.
Well, in some of those pictures there, and what I saw on Friday, too, in Chalmette, is that there's debris that actually washed and settled on top of the houses and the gutters and all.
I saw some boats on top
Yeah,
of the
oh yeah,
houses.
on top of houses.
did,
So that's
I
how
did.
high the water got. I mean, it actually covered, it almost completely covered some of the houses,
It
almost.
did.
And I'm
It
sure
did.
it
In many
covered
houses
others,
it did cover. That's why people ask me about specific addresses. I said, your story is the same as all the stories. I could just post this on the website. Your house was underwater completely.
Right.
You don't have a ceiling anymore. Your roof was probably intact, but all your stuff was swirling around in water, and it eventually came to settle, and everything is askew. And hopefully your plastics and your ceramics can be salvaged, and maybe even your clothing if it doesn't get too muddy and mucky.
So many people down there, too, we hear stories, may not even have flood insurance, which is the tragic thing. Did your mom have all the insurances?
She told me she does have all the insurance. Everybody I've talked to has had insurance, so I'm very, very happy about that.
Hopefully they do.
Yeah.
So here, again, look at these pictures.
Right.
Yeah, to me, that's the most stunning one. That's like if there was a newspaper locally, that would be the front page picture right there. To me, that's the one.
Richard,
Unbelievable.
Randy, your mom has not been back.
She is not. She's in Tennessee right now. She stayed in Montgomery, Alabama with my uncle for a little while, until they realized it was going to be long term.
Do you want her to come home and see this?
I don't even. She wants to rummage through it, but I'd like to clean it out first. See if we can get some of the muck out of there. Yeah. Do I want her to see it? Well, she's going to see it on the pictures anyway, because there's actually 20 other pictures that are not showing right now that are on the website. Like I say, if y'all go to the website, you can look at the rest of the pictures. And if you want me to send you one, I'll email it to you. You don't have to be charged for it.
Sure. Now, what about coming back and rebuilding? None of these homes obviously are habitable. What are you hearing down there as far as trailers, temporary housing? I mean, are you hearing anything down there?
My mom works for Folgers, and they have a large plant down there in New Orleans East. I did not get to look at it because it was dark by the time I was going out. And she said that they are going to help set up trailers for their employees so they can also work too when they get the plant back in
Right,
operation.
right.
So they're talking about hundreds of trailers, maybe
Right.
thousands. I don't know exactly how
Yeah.
many. So I'm assuming that FEMA is going to have a similar plan. I don't know that for a fact. I think they're just overwhelmed right now.
Right.
FEMA is over. They didn't realize this many people, and they didn't have a plan in place for this. They're rewriting rules as we go.
Yeah, they certainly are. You know, you mentioned Folgers, and there's a story on the APY right now about Procter & Gamble, which of course owns Folgers, is talking about you can blame Hurricane Katrina if it becomes tougher to get your regular cup of Joe simply because the plant shut down now and not as much supply as there
It
typically
did. I
is
think
out
they
there.
said, I don't know if it's 60 or 80% of their supply comes out of New Orleans. That's
Wow.
Right.
And that's for the world. So that's a big chop off right there. That's a lot of coffee not distributed.
But they're planning on coming back and,
Oh, yeah.
and staying.
They are.
That's
They are.
well, that's
That's
good
good
news. How many households would you say there are down there in Chalmette? We know all the different neighborhoods, but you being from there, you've seen it grow over the years.
Yeah, I don't know the specific numbers.
But in
and
the
I don't
parish
even
itself,
know if
it's
I would-
30,000, they were
Yes,
saying.
if it's
Yeah.
30,000 in the parish, but that goes a long way down. And this was from Parish Road on up that I visited. I didn't want to go past that because past that was the sludge,
Sludge, right.
and
Right.
the oil, and but it may not even be toxic. They don't know yet is the problem.
Right.
The EPA is going in there. They said if it's just oil, well then we'll bulldoze the houses and people can rebuild and after we clean it up.
But my thing, of course, is toxic if you're talking about water that reaches 10, 11, 12 feet on houses. You have sewer water in there. You have human waste.
Yes.
You have oil from vehicles, let alone
Chemicals
the,
from households.
let alone the crude from Murphy Oil, and,
Yeah.
and chemicals from houses.
And just
I mean,
and the
it's
cars
toxic.
themselves have stuff inside that were obviously ruptured and turned upside
Right.
down, and things leaking from houses, and your stuff under your sink is now in everybody's yards.
That's
you
right.
know, so
Yeah. Who knows what's in
it's
there.
pretty bad. And the mud, I cannot explain the mud enough.
No.
It was on the tops of trees, and all the trees are dead because they were cut off from the sunlight.
Right,
They're
right.
just- everything is dead.
We were riding around with the Colorado National Guard last Friday in Chalmette, and some of the mud there splattered on my pants. And I tried to wash it this weekend, and I put all kinds of stuff in to get it out.
It is
and
on-
it stained the pants. I mean, it won't come out.
It's on the van, underneath it, all
Right.
over it. And when I took my daughter to school this morning, I thought I had cleaned it very well. I mean, I felt like I sterilized the darn thing with Clorox and everything. She said, "What's that smell, Danny?" I said, "You can smell that?"
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I got used to it. You know, it's like, oh, it's a hideous smell.
And you know, the other thing too, the smell too, and I said this on the air once before, for folks who go back in their houses with all that rotting meat in the refrigerator,
I didn't even
as soon
open
as you
them.
step in there for just a minute or two, when you come back out, that's exactly what you smell like.
That's
Yeah.
it, right.
Yeah.
And people have it on the curbs too.
Right.
Metairee's
Ooh.
pretty
Yeah,
stinky.
They said
from
buried,
that.
buried it
Bury
in
it if
your
you
yard.
can.
Bring a
Right.
shovel with you and
Right.
buried it in your yard.
Good fertilizer.
Just a quick note, I did see on the website they're going to let business owners back in to the parish on September 14th.
What
That's
website did you see that on?
Wednesday. That is on stbernardparishgovernment.com. They said you have to fill out one of these puppies. You have to also send them an email because it has to be verified. I don't know if you can give it over the phone or not, but on the website it said email. And then you have to fill this out physically
out, fill it out.
yourself,
Okay.
and then bring it. And if it matches and they verified that you are a business owner, they will let you back in to survey your damage. But
So
they
that's
said-
today, September 14th.
They said 8 a.m.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that means today, but it was just posted, I think, last night.
Okay.
So a lot of people may not
Well,
realize
I guess that's a good sign. If you're letting the business owners come back in, assess
It
the
is.
damage.
They
and-
said that the residents will be off limits. Do not go into those neighborhoods under any circumstances.
Right.
They've got military patrolling to make sure nothing gets looted. But again, I don't think there's anything to loot.
Okay.
Amazing.
All right, Randy Richards
Thanks
of
for those pictures.
now living in Baton Rouge, but spent 25 years in Chalmette, and Mom still owns a house there. And Randy, thank you very much.
Good luck to you
You're
guys,
welcome.
too.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.